place. It's also a chicken place. That's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cars are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
It's time for Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny. From what's happening on the Blue at Boise State to the Mountain West and beyond. The biggest storylines, the best guests, and most outlandish opinions from two dudes who eat, sleep, and breathe college football. Ball Talk is presented by Circa Las Vegas and Circa Sports. Check out the world's largest sports book at Circa and watch the game at Stadium Swim on your next trip to Las Vegas. Book your trip today at circalasvegas.com. Ball Talk with Sanford and Johnny, featuring former Boise State quarterback and longtime coach Mike Sanford and KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's Johnny Mallory on Bronco Nation News.
Season 3, Episode 7, Ball Talk Lives with Sanford and Johnny. Coach, good to see you. Valor Christian, hope you had a good eventful game on Friday.
Not great. A little adversity, man. Little gut check time, baby. But you know what? It's a new week, man. It's Notre Dame week. For me, it's Mountain Vista week. And for you, Johnny, the Seahawks guy, man.
Yeah, sure. Seahawks have Tampa Bay in the greatest uniform game of all time. They're going back to 1976 for Jim Zorn versus Steve Spurrier on those
Zorn.
two teams.
Zorn's a buddy of my dad's, kind of a buddy of mine, too.
Zorn?
Zorn. Oh, good dude, man. Good ball coach, too.
Legend in Seattle, as you can probably tell.
Legend in the world of coaching, too. Just an amazing human being. But, man, you know what? It is a week that has been building up for years. Several years in the making when the announcement came out that my alma mater was going to be traveling to the football Mecca in South Bend, Indiana, the location for years and years and years of the College Football Hall of Fame before it was relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. I've been to both. And this is going to be an incredible experience for the Boise State players, most importantly, obviously the staff. And then a great experience as well for the fans that are going to be making the Hajj to Mecca. And it's going to be amazing, man.
Sold out all their tickets. I mean, there's going to be a nice little pocket of blue and orange there. And this is just one of those bucket list games. No question. This is, for you, we've talked about your history with Notre Dame. and everybody knows your history with Boise State. I mean, this would have been the game, I bet, if we would have found you 25 years ago as a backup quarterback at Boise State to say, give me the one game you want Boise State to play just in your lifetime. I bet you probably would have went
great
Coliseum.
Question.
You probably would have went the Coliseum or Notre Dame Stadium. I bet you would have said that. You're still waiting on the Coliseum, but this is kind of this is one of those, did you ever think this was going to happen games for you? It's got to be, gosh, you got to be full of emotions on this one, man.
No, I really am. And it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to just Saturday as a whole. It's going to be a great day. A lot of good college football, but this is the game that I think is going to have a chance to be one of the more intriguing games of the slate on Saturday. And a lot of people are writing the Boise State Broncos off. And I'm here to tell you now that the confidence that was attained from Maddox Madsen in this offensive unit, even if it's against Appalachian State, Eastern Washington, and Air Force, man, this is a Boise State offense that right now is a much different offense than it opened the season with South Florida. This is a defense that I think was able to right some wrongs against the quarterback that came in, with a little bit of hype, a little bit of circumstance from App State. And they did their job and they did it well. And so one of the most dangerous things in sport is to be A, overlooked, and then combine it B, with being confident and seeing your confidence starting to rise. And that's what I see from Boise State right now. And so this is Notre Dame they played well against Arkansas. Guess what? Arkansas fired their head coach immediately after. And that's not just solely because Notre Dame beat the brakes off them. It's because they had a lot of symptoms for a program that was in free fall mode.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, they've proven to play the game against Miami, right? Everybody thought at the time, oh, Notre Dame's terrible. Miami's proving to be pretty dadgum good, if I'm not mistaken, right?
100%.
So I think this is going to be a good matchup. I think that Notre Dame's defense is abysmal, and Notre Dame fans know that. It played better against Arkansas a week ago, just like Boise State played better against Appalachian State. But that defense has some significant holes in it. They don't tackle particularly well. They don't cover particularly well. And this is going to be a game where I think Boise State just needs to do what it does and trust that its process is going to acquit itself to be in a competitive football contest. And I predict, Johnny, and we can get into this as the show goes on, but as a starting point, I predict we're going to see a really good football game in South Bend, and nobody is. I do predict that.
Yeah, 20.5 points. Notre Dame is favored.
A fast riser, right? Did it start at a 16 and a half?
I think so.
A lot of people were saying, Notre Dame, man. Oh, they're back to the juggernaut we all thought they were. Oh, CJ.
I mean, they dismantled Arkansas, though.
Yeah, that's an SEC team. You're right.
That was alarmingly bad. And Taylon Green, I mean, you got the worst of Taylon Green. You got the best of Taylon Green. I mean, the good and the bad with TG10. And sometimes the bad gives you no chance. But as you were saying, Notre Dame's offense was untouchable that game. They have two running backs that you could say could win the Heisman if they weren't splitting time.
Which back do you like watching better?
I think Jeremiah Love. Watching better?
Yeah. Who kind of gets? It feels a little bit to me like a power. I know they're not in a power conference, but a power team equivalent of healthy Holani and healthy Genty. Yeah. You remember? I mean, it's like Genty kind of feels. I don't know, man. I mean, those are two good backs, man.
That was sick. Yeah, Love and Price are the two, and they're Price is averaging.
How do you say his first name? Is it
Jadarian Price?
Jadarian Price, yes.
And he's been there. I mean, this is his third year there, splitting time. He said the company line. He's been invested into this program, and they're both having really good years. And your boy, who I want to talk about, Mike Denbrock, is doing a great job.
Hey, before we get into
which back to use and when to use them. Yeah, well, what's up with your boy Denbrock?
Before we get into that, All right. Tonight's a big night, right? This is a free show that BJ is making available to all of the people because it's Notre Dame week, right?
Yeah.
And there's no place that's better to come to than to get a breakdown of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish than the guy that actually was basically co-offensive coordinators with Mike Denbrock just 9-10 years ago at Notre Dame. Good buddy of mine, got along great with him, but know a lot about him. I really do. I know kind of what makes him tick. I know what, his overall, thought process is and schematics. And so this is the perfect place to be. But if you want to continue to have great shows like this, Johnny and I are oftentimes behind a subscriber paywall. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so stupid. Trust me, the deal that BJ is running right now, you can get on BJ Reigns or Bronco Nation News social media, hit the link. There is a deal right now for a $5 a month subscription. Let's just be honest. Johnny's Taco Bell order is $23. All right. So just one Taco Bell order for Johnny Ballgame is $23.
I'm
so
hungry.
$5 a month for the best content, not just that Bronco Nation News has to offer, but also for what is offered by 247 Sports and Bronco, all that comes along with the subscription there. Just do it. Sign up for it right now, and then you can consume Ball Talk for the remainder of this season, and we work our tails off to give you the best content. I am so grateful to have a chance to do this show for the third season with my guy, Johnny Ballgame, that I can tell you, working in a top 20 media market in Denver, prepares a show, delivers a show, and is as entertaining as anybody that I've worked with. That's your guy right there in Boise, Idaho.
Bro.
So make sure that you guys subscribe, the extra $5. It's just good for business. BJ does a ton of stuff, and he's got to pay the bills. He's got to, I'm no longer on a contract over here with the CU Buffs, right? So to do this type of stuff, I mean, I have a pretty tight schedule. You've seen it, Johnny. And so do you.
I think you were on the practice field 30 minutes ago. I mean, you're just wrapping up, doing your thing there. So yeah, we'd appreciate it. It's a really good deal going on. If you like Boise State, this show, go ahead and subscribe. I go back to the South Florida game, week 1, and it's just so weird. And because this offense is averaging 520 yards per game that Nate Potter is the architect of. I mean, that is a top 10 offense. I think nationally it's up there. Notre Dame as well. They're averaging almost 500 yards of offense this year, Coach. I mean, these two offenses, I hope, can both put on a show on this one. Yeah. But, for what Nate Potter is doing, the South Florida game, 5 pre-snap penalties. Yeah. So it's almost like if you're going to do that, then I can't even look at that tape because I think 3 of them happened on first down. So you went into 3 series, either at 1st and 20 or 1st and 15. Like you could give me the best offense in America, and they're going to have a hard time during that week 1 on the road and everything that came with that. Not excusing it, but I don't think this offense is anything close to what happened at South Florida. And I know the opponents haven't been there. App State, me and you respect the hell out of that. That's a respectable outfit. I know maybe they're this year.
It's a tradition-rich group of 5 program.
They play good football there. And,
yes, they do.
And that was a massive destruction of them. And just kind of the rhythm maybe that Nate Potter is feeling right now as this play caller. I mean, back-to-back games of over, 500 yards of offense. I don't think it's 3 straight. Maybe it is, but again, they're averaging
it feels like it.
520. A lot of pieces. There's different rushing leader every game. There's a different receiving leader every game. The doggy is constantly protected well. He's never under duress. I mean, what are you seeing as a former offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, but Boise State? You sat in Potter's exact same chair. You seeing any type of rhythm with your boy Nate Potter?
Do you remember what I said going into the South Florida game, in terms of my advice from afar on Bronco Nation News? I'm not talking to Nate Potter in person. I got my own fish to fry here in Colorado, and so does he. But the one thing I said is that Nate Potter has been around run games for a decade, and he's really good at putting together run games. So as a first-time coordinator, what should you lean into, what you know, and what you're good at. And don't try to prove a point that I can be a pass game czar and I'm this, I'm going to be the next Mike Leach, even though I'm 295 pounds before I lost 70 pounds. Right.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I don't even know. I think I'm heavier than Nate Potter now, but
he's a large man though. You're right. He has slimmed down
genetically and the bone structure is a large human.
Yes.
But those kinds of guys don't just run the football, and then all the pass game and play action game just naturally comes off of it. And that's what I think that he's done a phenomenal job in adjusting after, frankly, what I thought a lot of first-time coordinators, they look like they've seen a ghost after their first failed experience as a play caller. I have been there. I was there after the Air Force game in 2014. That was my first year calling plays. I was just there this past Friday. I had a rough game, man. Scored 14 points, man, in a high school game.
What Harsh say to you after that performance? Was it on the plane? Was it in the Monday meeting? Was it Sunday? Do you specifically remember? Because that was a bad look. Like you're saying, you didn't get the job done. You were harder on yourself than anybody. But
right.
How was Harsh when an assistant had a bad day?
Yeah, not great.
I love how I set you up for these things sometimes to really enhance ball talk, but
not great. Not great. The good thing about it, though, man, what I learned, man, I was getting my break speed off at the office that week by Harsh, and guess what? I was getting the same treatment at home from the wifey for not being home and helping in any way, shape, or form with our young children. So it's good. There's nothing better than getting beat up as a ball coach at home and at office. And that's what I was getting. And Anne Marie, she will give me the business just like Harsh would give me the business.
Oh yeah. Worse, man. Worse. Anne Marie knows how it goes. She's probably a fan of Mike Denbrock. Let's get to the Notre Dame offensive coordinator here. When you were the OC at Notre Dame, Mike Denbrock was your receivers coach.
Well, he had the title of senior associate head coach of offense. So, the one thing that was a bit of a disappointment of taking that job was it wasn't like, hey, Mike, you're coming in here to bring your offensive system that you ran last season at Boise State. In fact, Brian Kelly's offense that is kind of you ever heard of Chuck Martin? Name the school.
Chuck Martin.
Current head coach in the MAC, in the Mid-America Conference.
Ball State.
Nope. Miami of Ohio.
Dang.
Chuck Martin was he and Brian Kelly both at different times were the head coach at Grand Valley State. And the offense
Denbrock went.
Correct. The offense was there. And so Denbrock was a tight end coach and offensive line coach. Denbrock actually coached at Stanford in between the time that my dad coached at Stanford and I coached at Stanford. And he was with Tyrone Willingham.
Guy.
He was with Willingham multiple times. So I know Denbrock and I know his offensive background. It's a weird blend of this Grand Valley State offense that, like, if I told you it's the weirdest, it's one of the strangest nomenclatures I've ever been around. Okay. So most formations, all right, Boise State, okay, to say 3-by-1 with the tight end in line, that's called trio right. If you want to go the opposite of that with a 3-by-1, so the Z receiver, the F is the slot receiver in the Boise offense, that's the H, and then the Y, the tight end, is an inline, on the line blocker basically right outside of the tackle, and then the X receiver split out to the right. That formation at Boise State would be trio left. So you would have trio right and trio left. That's how the West Coast offense is as well. That would be called, I think it's trips right and trips left in the West Coast offense. I got to double check that. In the strange offense of Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly and Chucky Martin, baby. The Grand Valley State guys with that Ooper, that great up north accent, even though Grand Rapids isn't quite a Yooper. It's just up there a little bit. Beer Country, USA. They call that formation Army to the right and Navy to the left. Okay. A 3-by-1 with all three receivers split out is Cowboy to the right, Indian to the left.
Okay.
that would be called triple right or triple left. So there's T's for 3x1s in offenses that make sense. Okay. In the Grand Valley offense and what Notre Dame's going to be running this week, the 3x1 formation with the, how everybody runs with the Y off the ball now, and he can be a move tight end. And it's been in vogue for the last decade in college football. Right. And even now it's making its way into the NFL game because of the RPO stuff.
By the way, Urban Meyer and your dad started that. I think his name was David Moa. Who was that tight end? Your dad.
He was a tight end, fullback, tailback.
That was the first one of the
Ben Moa.
Boom. David
Moa was a Boise State Bronco, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think there was some relation.
It was a Polynesian guy. It was a tight end that your dad and Urban Meyer turned into a star.
He was so fun to watch.
And kind of the first I ever saw of that position you're talking about right now. Denbrock uses that. Like Boise State's going to see a lot of.
So he loves being in. He calls that would be cowboy toes. So toes means that third receiver is now lined up. His toes are behind the offensive tackle's heels, and then it would be Indian toes. And it was like, it's still to me to this day, I'm like, how in the world did what kind of Irish whiskey was Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock sipping back at up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when they came up with the weirdest formational system that I've ever been around in my entire life. But the offense can be a little bit wordy. It can be at times I felt like there was a lack of tempo. There was the ability to get to tempo. And that's one of the things that I brought was a package that we actually called it our snake package. And all of our snakes were some type of fastball play. You would have Rattler was, quick outs on the outside, verticals on the inside. We had Boa, which was quarterback power read. Garter was inside zone duo out of cowboy and Indian toes. And so we had Brown was a play that we ran wide zone out of 3x1 Army Navy. So it would just the word, what different kinds of snakes would mean the tempo. So that was something that I brought to that system. And in some of the past game too, ironically, who preceded me with Mike Denbrock in my position the year before I got there. And he was kind of, I don't think he wasn't fired, but I don't think that Mike or that Brian Kelly really wanted him back, was actually Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur had been the quarterback coach, the now head coach of the Green Bay Packers. He had been the quarterback coach in 2014.
At Notre Dame.
Yeah, and it was a bad year. It was Everett Golston. Golston had a kind of a rough year. They got the break speed off him or something. I can't remember, in a couple games. They ended up playing in the Music City Bowl, which for Notre Dame was a huge letdown. Yeah, so this is funny. Matt LaFleur, he ends up kind of getting, I don't know, he didn't get fired, but it's kind of like, Brian Kelly's like, I don't know where we're at, Matt, And so Matt linked up with, he went to college. I don't know if you know this, with the Sala brothers. They all went, and they all have ties up in Northern Michigan. But he went to the Atlanta Falcons and Sala was there. And LaFleur got a job there, linked up with Kyle Shanahan with the Atlanta Falcons. And I think ended up at the Washington Redskins at the time, ended up being the Commanders before he got the offensive coordinator job at the Green Bay Packers.
That Jay Gruden staff in Washington, give that one a look. It's like Jim Lee Howe with the 1958 Giants. He had Tom Landry as his DC and Vince Lombardi as his OC. Right. They both got hired away within a year or two, and history obviously went that direction. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, so you're back to the Notre Dame offense and Mike Denbrock, like what he wants to do. They're doing basically whatever they want right now. They're throwing the ball for 300 yards a game. That CJ Carr kid looks really good. He looks way beyond his years. He looks like, his grandfather is a coaching legend at Michigan.
For sure.
I mean, he looks like that. And those kids too. They're just all they know. He probably can't make a grilled cheese sandwich, but he can go on an 80-yard drive for you. That
although CJ Carr doesn't CJ Carr look like his face and his body type? He looks like a 10-year NFL veteran. He looks like Elvis Gerbach as the backup for the 49ers.
Nice.
It's the wildest thing, right?
Elvis Gerbach. Yeah. So he does, but like it feels like what this offense and what they're going to do, I don't know. They can do what they basically, like I said, they've been doing whatever the heck it is they want. What
here's
do you
the
think,
scouting report.
knowing this guy, knowing what Boise State's defense is doing, how do you think he's going to figure this out?
The scouting report that I know of Mike Denbrock is he is it's almost like if there was a Spider-Man meme of young Mike Denbrock, he'd be pointing to another Spider-Man, Nate Potter, because their background is both in running the football and calling run plays and knowing how the run fits work against the defenses they're going to see. You know, when I would game plan with Denbrock, it was a lot of fun, but it would be some of the most painstaking moments of my life. He would sometimes just stare at a screen and kind of like not say a word for like 15 straight hours. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I'd uncomfortably like, hey, what are you looking at? Hey, I'm a young, what are you seeing? And then he just sit there. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure. I don't know. And in his mind, he was kind of it was almost like he was hypothesizing how a defense was going to try to play us, how a defense was going to try to fit our run game. Was there going to be something that was out of the norm? And it's interesting. Two things that I noticed is that he was always trying to find a way to run, basically run duo, which is inside zone, to run inside zone effectively. And if he didn't love his numbers, then he was going to do two things. He was going to run zone read with the quarterback, and we had athletic quarterbacks. Deshaun Kaiser had a lot, in the run game. But then the other thing that I thought he at times, and this is going to be really good information for you, the Boise State fan, is if Boise State plays a heavy box population, okay, there's two things that he's going to do. Number one, he's going to want to try to find a way to run the football. And like he said, numbers aren't good. He's going to read somebody. So quarterback's going to read a defensive end, potentially a backer. And then the second thing that he's going to try to do is he's going to actually have the quarterback as the primary run guy. So he might call, so it'd be like Q outside zone right. If you go back and you should watch this, the Clemson versus Notre Dame game, Deshaun Kaiser versus Deshaun Watson. We had success in basically a hurricane, extreme weather, but we had some success getting back to our numbers being favorable because we would run Deshaun Kaiser and have CJ Procise and Torian Fulston at the time, the running backs, as the lead blockers. Right. I usually
play action to Will Fuller deep.
So then I was going to tell you that's the next thing is that Mike Denbrock likes calling. It's interesting. We called our speed outs. Okay. Were they would convert to back shoulder fades. So if we run these, square outs, off the 6 step. And if you felt at receiver and at quarterback, like the guy was either pressing you or sitting on the route, not backpedaling, that we were gonna run by him. But the throw itself was not a throw it down the field, rip the perfect go ball. It was throw it in the vicinity. And then Denbrock loves big receivers, loves big receivers. Got a couple names for you. Chase Claypool. That's one of Mike Denbrock's recruits right there.
He was a stud.
Yeah. That's one that to me really, really stood out. With Mike Denbrock, Malik Neighbors, big physical, go aerial, go get the football type of receiver at LSU. And that's where Denbrock was at, in between his stints. So he went Notre Dame, to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then he went to, with Luke Fickell. And then he went
Desmond Ridder era OC.
Yeah, for sure.
All 4 of those Ridder years, Denbrock was the OC there at Cincinnati. I mean, that's a hell of a job he did. And then, like you said, he goes to LSU after that, and now he's
Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, he was the OC for
Who
Jaden
else?
Daniels and Malik Neighbors.
Didn't they have another? They had another big time offensive weapon.
Oh, it's LSU. Yeah, I mean, he's got a million of those. But yeah, this guy's had serious athletes. As far as what he likes to run in these 2 running backs. I mean, so we're gonna see. This is heavy running the football. You would think.
The only thing I'll tell you though, that I have seen, and if you watched any of the first couple games of Notre Dame offensively, namely the Miami game, there are times. in Northern Illinois a year ago, I've seen Denbrock get into a rut as a play caller, and we all have been. I've been in ruts too as a play caller, clearly, where you can't find your rhythm. You can't stay a step ahead. And here's where I saw it. I saw it when somebody defended us very differently than what we had planned for, or maybe the hypothesis that Mike Denbrock was contemplating didn't necessarily come to fruition as he saw it. So that's going to be an interesting chess match right there between Eric Chenander and Spencer Danielson and Mike Denbrock on that side of the football. Now, on the other side of the ball, I know Chris Ash pretty well. The defensive coordinator, Chris Ash, I coached against him when he was at San Diego State. He was, I was at UNLV. He was also at Wisconsin, coached against him multiple times between Stanford and the Rose Bowl. And then again, when I was at Western Kentucky, he was there.
Is it pretty sweet coaching in a Rose Bowl?
It's the only thing that probably bests coaching a game at Notre Dame Stadium. And I said on sports, on the ticket today, KTIK, did I say Idaho Sports Radio earlier today?
Idaho Sports Talk. What?
I was right?
Yeah, Idaho Sports Talk, KTIK.
Okay, good. Good. I just want to make sure I was good on it. No, I know.
Yeah.
So I was on with you earlier and it was a blast. But I was telling you that there's nothing in football anywhere near playing in a regular season game at Notre Dame Stadium. All right. But honestly, a Rose Bowl's even better because it's when you play in the actual game on January 1. The college football playoff thing, it just seems like it's kind of neutered the Rose Bowl experience.
Where are your rings, dude? You got a Rose Bowl ring? You got where you got Fiesta Bowl rings? Do you keep them somewhere? How many do you have?
I think I have like 9.
I would think it's even more than that. As a player at Boise State, you probably
I have 4 from Boise State. I have 3 Fiesta Bowl rings, 2 Rose Bowl rings. Idaho or Indiana high school, the IHSAA state championship game when we beat Rex Grossman in Bloomington South when I was going to Mishawaka Penn High School about 18 miles northeast.
You and Rex Grossman faced off in high school?
I was a backup. I was a sophomore, but it was awesome. It was at the old RCA Dome where the Colts used to play. It was glorious, man. I was like, oh man, I've never seen a dome like this. It was unreal. The 97 state championship, man, that's 28 years ago, buddy. 28.
Let's get a mic drop in 15 seconds.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Here we are, the moment that all of us have been waiting for, but I don't know if there's anybody that's been more excited for this Saturday of college football in its purest form for my alma mater, Boise State, bringing that beautiful blue and orange, wearing their whites, and taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Lou Holtz, Newt Rockney, Canute, Frank Leahy, Jerome Bettis, Ron Pallas, my guy that my dad coached there at Notre Dame, Joe Montana, Rick Meyer,
Lake Dawson.
I mean, the list goes on and on. The 4 horsemen, the hollowed walls, spiritual, in fact, of that Notre Dame stadium locker room. Never experienced anything like it. I could hear the voices of Irish legends of century past, reverberating through the echoes of that beautiful facility. This is going to be an incredible game, but I'm going to tell you right now, Boise State, my alma mater, should not be going to Notre Dame Stadium for any type of feel of nostalgia, for any type of feel of, oh my gosh, we're playing in the Mecca. They should be going there looking for blood, because this is a Notre Dame football team that just a mere 2 weeks ago looked like they were ready to get got. And I think that's the same football team. They've played a couple dysfunctional teams. They're confident. Boise State has played a couple dysfunctional teams. They're confident. Rewind to the first couple games of this season, and you saw this was going to be a great football game. That's what I see. Boise State, go in there looking for blood, go in there, savor it all, take a deep breath, and then go cut it loose and do what you do. And that's go play really physical ball, play creative ball, play sound football, and trust your preparation, because you have a chance to wake up the echoes inside of one of the most glorious buildings in all of sport. I can't wait to watch this game, and I can't wait to root on my Broncos. Wake up the echoes, cheering your name of the Boise State Broncos. And that's the mic drop.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with a room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Man, just trying to picture working.
I love this one. It's so good. That's so good.
Working in the Notre Dame locker room. Like, you go in there before a game. And I know it's changed, but you are right. Like, Newt Rockne was right there.
It hasn't changed much.
4 horsemen. 7 Heisman Trophy winners.
Johnny Ballgame, baby.
Put their jock strap on right over there.
I miss a good jock strap, man.
They don't wear cups anymore. They
don't wear jock straps, man. I used to love the look of a football game back in the early 90s when you saw the football pants and you could see that squeeze, just that thin line and just fat cheeks hanging out on either side of that jock line. It was so good.
Oh, some guys would have the worst. Like, that stuff would the strap would stick sometimes.
Oh,
it would bad rashes behind your legs.
And then every once in a while, you'd see a player that the two jocks, the little straps on the back started kind of riding up, and it turned into almost a bull rat looking suit underneath their pants. Just bad.
Gross. Just gross. Bad.
I was a jock strap guy. In fact, Dale Holste, man, my guy used to hand out the Duke. That's what it's called. It's the famous jock strap that Dale used to hand out.
What
and I was
the hell is this? Wait, Dale Holste.
The mule, man. The mule himself would hand out the Duke, baby.
The Duke? I thought that was the ball. The Wilson NFL ball they called the Duke, but it was what was this, like a jock strap that they passed down to like the special guy every year?
No, the Duke was the brand that we used. Ironically, it's the same brand as the glorious National Football League ball, the game ball called the Duke.
Wilson.
But it apparently, back in the day of the jock strap, the thing you threw around in the NFL was the same thing that held your family jewels in place, man. Just can't beat it.
What's crazy too? I wanted to talk more about the Notre Dame effect. Is like, you can't be a college football fan and not have had at some point somebody explain to you who and what Notre Dame stands for, historic. I mean, me and you barely remember the time when playing on television was a massive deal. There were like 6 games on a Saturday, that type of thing. And before our era, there was like 2, and one of them was always going to be the Notre Dame game. But at some point, someone explained to you who these guys are, and you either said, "Oh, sweet, I love them." The fight song, that something about those uniforms and the colors in that stadium with that fight song. Yeah, I see a crisp, like, fall breeze to the air. Like, that is so Notre Dame, coach. And at some point you either said, "Yeah, I'm going to be a part of that. Those guys are awesome." Or you said, "Nah, man, I don't like those guys. They're everywhere. I'm tired of them. They're the villain." But it feels like with Notre Dame, you're not just kind of in between. It's like one or the other. And you were saying this earlier on KTIK that it's not a local fan base.
Yeah.
It's national. If there's an America's team for college football, no question, it's Notre Dame. They've been on national television forever, and you can name, like, me and you could go back and we could just spend the next hour just naming Notre Dame players back and forth. Me and you could. I mean, and we're not, I mean, a lot of people could, is what I'm saying. I mean, just that stinking brand their place in college football. It's hard to believe they haven't won a title since Tony Rice, Lou Holtz, 1988. That's
oh
crazy
my gosh.
to think about. They've been close. They've
It's
been
37 years, man. 37 years.
Basically our lifetime. Our lifetime, we've seen like one Notre Dame title. And we're old.
I was
now,
6.
man.
I was 6.
We're freaking old now.
I mean, look at these bags under my eyes, man. I need some dadgum Botox, man.
Yeah.
I'm in ball coaching mode, aren't I, Johnny?
You are. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, so Johnny, think about it this way, right? So I just had a chance. It was strange because I'm a Boise State guy, and probably the rivalry the team I hated the most from my 5 years as a player and my 1 year as a coach at Boise State was actually BYU. And I think a lot of that is perpetuated because in Boise, there were a lot of us that were playing for Boise State at the time, and we're like, oh, everybody's a Boise State fan until the team that represents their church comes into town, and then all of a sudden they're wearing, no orange with their royal blue, or at the time their navy blue. It was just pure navy blue, right?
That was the thing, huh?
Big time thing, man. Big time thing. Now I'm going to tell you this past Saturday, Amory's brother, who coaches quarterbacks for Brigham Young University, he got us tickets in the BYU cheering section. Okay. And it was at Folsom Field against the CU Buffs, a school I had just recently coached at, right? I was in the BYU section. That was the largest section I've ever seen in my entire life from a visiting
section at Folsom.
I have never seen anything like it. In fact, it was so big that it kind of created a stir with the student fit section at CU, because they're like, screw these people. Why are they taking over our Dane Stadium? And they started an F the Mormons chant, which CU had to pay a $50,000 fine. And so what I would tell you is this: while the Mormon church is certainly very strong and prevalent in the Western United States, the Mountain West, and certainly different parts of the United States and the world, there's nothing in terms of organized religion, maybe outside of the growing Muslim church, but in terms of the Catholic Church, this is the flagship university internationally for the archbishop, for the diocese, for the faith. It's Catholicism, man.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that grew up Catholic and grew up loving Notre Dame, the amount of priests and nuns that have been affected by somebody that went to Notre Dame or some time of their lifetime where they could look at that Saturday game on, at 2:00 and say, man, they represent my faith and my belief and my values. And that Golden Dome reminds me of some of those golden cathedrals all across the world that represent Catholicism. This is a massive, massive brand that reaches so much deeper than just the local community in South Bend. There is no busier private FBO fly-by owner airport in the world than Notre Dame, outside of Notre Dame in Elkhart, Indiana on a Saturday. And that is 20 miles northeast, very close to where I used to live. It is a constant flow of private jets coming in from
Sun
Chicago.
Valley. Reminds me of that little airport in Sun Valley, I think what you're saying.
Yeah. And Sun Valley's little airport, they get some people. This is droves from early morning till late at night. I mean, and they just prepare from it all the way from Tuesday, Wednesday of a game week, all the way through Monday of the following week. It is a mecca, and there is a legitimate pilgrimage that occurs for the wealthy, the non-wealthy, for just the football fans, for the people that just love growing up rooting for Notre Dame. Heck, I was reffing a Powder Puff game at Valor Christian today, a Christian school, not even a Catholic school, a true, Bible believing, non-Catholic. I guess you call it what's it called?
It's a
non-denominational,
very strict religious school that you're at.
But it's not Catholic school. And heck, there's 3-4 kids that I was like, they just got their Notre Dame gear on. They love it, and they grew up rooting for Notre Dame. I'm writing a letter of recommendation from one of my senior players to apply to go to school at Notre Dame. It just has that kind of allure. It has that kind of mystique.
Your sister graduated from Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I just learned that today on Idaho Sports Talk. Well, your sister's an alum. Is she rooting for Notre Dame?
Oh, you betcha. I mean, her husband is he played basketball at the University of Notre Dame. He was a walk on, but he was part of the scout team that got, some really good Troy Murphy. He got him ready to play. Yeah,
that was
Troy
a good
Murphy.
era.
And
Chris Thomas, I think maybe, I don't know if he was the point guard then. He was
played freshman year for Digger Phelps.
Yeah,
Mike Bray had a chance to be around some really good coaches, man. Remember Doherty, the basketball coach who went on to North Carolina? He was from Notre Dame. Brad Doherty. I think that's the name.
Brad Doherty was the player from North Carolina. Is it Matt Doherty?
That sounds right. But he was pretty short lived at UNC.
The North Carolina guy.
Yeah. He was the head coach at Notre Dame. But my brother-in-law, he loves Notre Dame so much. I mean, everything shuts down over on a Saturday, and they live in the Bay Area. Believe it or not, my brother-in-law just got hired. He's going to be running the endowment as the at University of Notre Dame. My sister and her family, 3 girls, they're moving back to South Bend in the next 6 months.
Wow.
I mean, it's deep, man.
Yeah, you got a serious connection with South Bend, man. Your family. Yeah.
Yep,
Stupid
deep.
Question to ask you who you're rooting for. I mean,
no, I mean, blood's thicker than water, and at the end of the day, man, I bleed blue, man, and I bleed, the right kind of blue. But yeah, it's pretty easy to the thing for me is that Notre Dame is a place that's so special to me. I loved my time there as a ball boy. When my dad was the quarterback coach with Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong and Greg Madison and Jim Coletto. Bob Davie is the head coach, just to name a few on that staff. But at the end of the day, man, 5 years, blood, sweat, and tears on that blue field. The opportunity is one of a lifetime for Boise State to go make a significant imprint in college football lore by taking a brand that has been building and growing and nurtured over the last 30 years and bringing it to, I think, the birthplace of college football. In terms of the explosion of college football.
It kind of is. I mean, college football became college football at Notre Dame. It really did. Notre Dame took the vehicle of college football and said, here's what we can do with this. And we can make it, kick some serious ass. And that's what Notre Dame did. I mean, they did more for college football probably than college football did for them at the time. I mean, and it's kind of weird. Like, it's just, they're different. They still are. They're still doing the independent thing, and that's fine. It works for them. They're just different.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, if you would have asked me June of 2024, Sanford, that's when the press release hit. Jeremiah Dickey signed Notre Dame, Boise State, June of 2024.
That's it, man.
Year and a half. It's been a year and a half, but we've been talking about this. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, ball game, one game, Boise State, where? Just instantly in my head, I probably just would have blurted out the Kibbe Dome. Right now, kidding. But no, it would have been Notre Dame. Notre Dame. They have to play Notre Dame. It's like, I don't know if you can really say you're all this and that as a program if you haven't played Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal getting to play them. And coach, since 2021, they've lost to 3 group of 5 programs at home. Your boy Mike Denbrock was the OC when Desmond Ridder and that Cincinnati team came in and won by double digits. Maybe the best group of 5 team of all time, that Cincinnati team. They came in there. And then last year was Northern Illinois. And then 2 years before that, if you remember, Marshall went in there and caught him. I looked at the
my quarterback, my backup quarterback from Utah State that backed up Jordan Love. Henry Colombi was the starting quarterback for We Are Marshall that went in there.
I remember that kid.
Yes, that was my guy, man.
Yeah, he quarterbacked. But I mean, so it's happened. And I don't know where this Notre Dame team is in relation to those others, but I do know last year's team was pretty freaking good, right?
Yeah.
They went to the Natty. They went the whole way. They played 16 games last season, and Northern Illinois was able to do it. The common denominator, it's obvious, but it's win the turnover battle. And those 3 games, it was at least +2 to the opposition. And in one case, I think the Marshall game, they were +3 with a pick 6. So somehow, some way, you got to get that ball out. You got to get it to bounce your direction. I think for Boise State, if we just want to kind of transition into how the hell, if anything, if Boise State's going to get another serious upset notch on a belt that's full of them, how they're going to be able to make this happen, Coach Sanford, because man, I mean, this is a really good Notre Dame team, in my opinion, with what they're doing. I keep thinking about what they did to Kansas. They just lit them up like they were an FCS team, man. It's almost like they were playing Scottie Pippen in Central Arkansas, not in Fayetteville. Pig Suey, very prideful, tough SEC committed program, and Notre Dame just eliminated them. Like, I'm thinking, damn, how good can this team be? I got a lot of questions with this game. I don't think I'm going to be surprised, Coach, if that point spread is accurate and it's Notre Dame. The fourth quarter isn't even watchable.
Yeah, but we said this
not the case, but I can see that.
I'm gonna go with Lee Corso, not RIP because he's still alive, but not a part of College Game Day like he certainly was for so many years. But I'm gonna go not so fast, my friend, because I don't buy that this Notre Dame team, when challenged, is quite what last year's team was. I also think that this is a game that reminds me a whole heck of a lot of last year when Boise State went into Oregon and they had the best roster that money could buy. And they got Dylan Gabriel, who's now the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, which is wild.
Love it.
And everybody thought that was going to be a blowout. Everybody thought it was going to be a 40-point win for Oregon. Now, I was coming off a Boise State Georgia Southern game that was like, huh? Oh, and then I think a Portland State game is kind of, I don't know. What I would say about this one is this is going to be a lot closer than anybody thinks. So, if I will be disappointed in my alma mater if they get beat by 20 or more points, and I'm not betting on the game. I don't care about any of that stuff.
No, it's not about making money for you. It's about your favorite team beating Notre Dame. And I mean, Boise State, this is a slow week, guys. There's not a lot of mega games out there.
Yep.
If Boise State wins this game, they'll own Saturday.
It's
a day game. It's a day game. So this game will end when the primetime games are starting, and it'll be, Boise State did it again. What's going on? And Notre Dame, Bob Beeler said this, and I think I believe him. This is an elimination game. Boise State loses this game, 100%. You could argue they're probably not going to get to the CFP without mega help. If Notre Dame loses this game, 100%, they're not getting to the CFP unless they're a 9-3 entry. And I don't think they get in at 9-3 because at some point you have to beat good teams.
No question.
Notre Dame's got the loss to Miami. They got the loss to A&M. And if you throw in Boise State on that, all of a sudden Notre Dame, I don't know what they're playing for. So
yeah, and I'm not buying stock on this A&M team, really. I thought it was a bad loss for Notre Dame. I do.
Well, their defense just didn't show up. They couldn't get off the field against
I'm not buying stock.
And
I'm not buying stock on this A&M team. I thought it was a bad loss for Notre Dame. I think this is still an elimination game for both teams. I do. Stand by it. It's an elimination game for Notre Dame. It's an elimination game for Boise State. If Boise State loses by 20 or more points, this isn't the Boise State program that we all know and love. Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. This is not a team that should even be contemplating playing in for a college football playoff game. I'll be severely disappointed. And that's not coming from a place of anything other than I don't think this Notre Dame team is as good as it was a year ago. Same team that lost to Northern Illinois.
This Notre Dame team is not as good as last year's. I mean, that's probably fair to say. But I think
look what Notre Dame did.
Their running backs are better, though. Love is better this year, I think.
They're the same guys, man. They're the same guys. And I would say that CJ Carr at times has looked good, but he's also at times looked okay. I don't know. This is a way worse defense. Way worse. Al Golden was a dude at Notre Dame. Now he sucks at the Bengals. I just watched that debacle. He's the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals now, and they look as bad as you can possibly look. That's an embarrassment of an NFL.
He's not going to keep that gig much longer, sadly, for Al Golden.
Shouldn't have left, man. Shouldn't have left. Notre Dame. He probably could have
why does any Notre Dame OC or DC ever leave? Those guys must be freaking morons. If you're a Notre Dame OC and you take a gig in like Conference USA or something, you must be like, seriously, what are you guys doing? No, I'm kidding, but
that's what my wife said too.
She said that too. We're leaving Notre Dame to go be the head coach in the Conference USA, but Yeah, I love it, man. Good. I'm trying to think where I want to go with this one. Back to the game, but I do want to ask you this. I had this written down. I don't want to forget it, but put me through your head, all of our listeners, over 1,000 people watching this. You just finished the 2014 season. Your first as a full-time play calling OC. I think that's your offense. Yeah. And the season's over. You're one of these hot young 30s coaches. Everybody wants a piece. Your phone's ringing. And I think
32 years old.
32 years old. You just won the Fiesta Bowl. Jay Ajayi has an amazing year. And 2 coaches called you. One was Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. 2 was Urban Meyer at Ohio State.
Butch Jones, too.
Butch Jones at Tennessee. Several others, but the only 2 I think that you even called back were Urban Meyer and Brian Kelly. What was that process like for you, first off, to be sought after by those guys? And I knew you'd done some good things, but I mean, how did BK, was it a pretty easy sell for him to get you to leave your alma mater after 1 year? You guys had a roll in there, and you go to Notre Dame to not bring your offense, to run his stuff. He just wanted your mind in the building because he didn't want the offense or the play calling.
Well, the wildest thing was after Ohio State in the 2014 season, which I believe they played in the Sugar Bowl against Nick Saban's Alabama squad, a really good team, and Ohio State beat them fairly convincingly in that Sugar Bowl. It was a college football playoff.
Was that Cardell Jones? I think
yes, it was a year of Cardell Jones, and the whole deal.
Man,
so Urban Meyer texts me the next morning after the Sugar Bowl, like it was like this long of a text, and I hadn't talked to him in years.
Explain to people how you know Coach Meyer.
Yeah, so Urban Meyer was the wide receiver coach 1997, 1998. He was there before, but my dad went to Notre Dame as the quarterback coach. So like I grew up with his daughters. They were younger. In fact, I got in a jet ski accident with Gigi Meyer on the back of my jet ski. She fell off of the jet. I mean, we didn't hit anything, but like kind of flipped it. She fell off, had to get rushed to the hospital. They were worried about internal bleeding. So not great. Everything was fine. Everything was perfectly fine. She was young at the time. And I was speedster, high schooler, thinking I was the
on
man.
That jet ski.
Yep, on that jet ski.
That's not a toy. This is not a toy.
And that was in Notre Dame Donors Lake House and their jet ski up in Diamond Lake in Michigan. But you know, I knew him as I was the ball boy. I knew him as a really intense coach. He was a young coach at the time. Think about Urban 38 years ago, man, or 28 years ago.
Yeah, that's when you met him. Okay.
Yep. 28 years ago.
So you've worked with him. Your dad and him are super close.
Yeah, my dad ended up getting kind of just a big time injection of life into his coaching career when my dad had just recently gotten fired at Stanford under Buddy Tevens, R.I.P. rest his soul. But my dad
was a tough era though.
Yeah, he also just passed away at Dartmouth. He got hit by a car when he was riding his bike. Just about a summer or two ago, Buddy Tevens, that is. But so Urban Meyer called my dad. He was the offensive coordinator at Utah. Urban just got hired from Bowling Green to be the head coach at Utah. And he reached out to my dad and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a West Coast recruiter, a guy that can call the offense. Yeah, anybody in mind?" And my dad said, "How about me?" And ironically, that conversation happened when we were sitting at Goldie's Breakfast Bistro in downtown Boise. My dad was visiting me, and that was Urban calling my dad and saying, "Hey," and my dad goes, "What about me?" And Urban's like, "Why would you leave Stanford?" He goes, "Well, Stanford might be asking me to leave." He said, "Well, I mean, you're exactly what I'd be looking for. I just think there was any chance. You're a Pac-10 head offensive coordinator right now."
Yeah.
So my dad ends up going. My dad and Urban Meyer at Notre Dame, they had Jim Coletto as their offensive coordinator, former Purdue head coach, big time.
Ron Powless was their quarterback. Is that
Ron
what you
Powless
said?
And Jarius Jackson.
Jarius Jackson.
Yeah, love Jarius Jackson. That was my guy from
Jarius Jackson versus Tom Brady in 1999. Go back to that game.
I was the ball boy. I was the ball boy. Yep.
That was freaking classic. Brady won, I think it was. But it was.
I was the ball boy on Michigan's sideline for Notre Dame. So I had Notre Dame's ball. So I was looking over at the skinny youngster and Drew Henson and Tom Brady. And I'm like, I'm like, why is that guy not playing? He's better. It was Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, that was a classic Notre Dame Michigan game, 99. Yeah, okay.
I think I was actually the ball boy for the 98 game. So,
okay,
but
well,
it was
thing. Yeah,
okay. And it was at Notre Dame Stadium. I think the one you're referring to probably was the year after at Michigan. So Urban, had followed me apparently from afar. I really learned it was kind of his agent was doing a good job of seeing who would be a good fit, to replace Tom Herman. And Tom Herman he was the OC quarterback guy, but he was taking the head job at Houston, his first head job.
Yeah.
And
did a hell of a job there too.
He did. And then it all, we all have some tough days, right? Some tough genres or eras. But yeah, so then Urban reaches out to me about being a co-offensive coordinator with Ed Warner, the O-line coach at the time, who was going to get promoted to co-OC. He was going to be the play caller. I was going to be the quarterback coach. I went there and interviewed. I loved Urban, my relationship with Urban, but I thought the staff had some really weird dynamics at play.
So this is when you were the OC at Boise State.
Yep.
You went and interviewed for an OC position at Ohio State.
And it was 2 days after Alabama Ohio State game. So it was about 7 days. It was actually right in between. So it was during the week of prep leading up to Ohio State, Oregon, Marcus Mariota, Chip Kelly, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner,
it was actually
Thomas.
Mark Helfrich. It wasn't Chip anymore.
Oh, that's right. You're right. It was healthy. And so was
he your quarterback coach at Boise State?
He was healthy. Yep. My guy. Yep.
So crazy the world. Everybody is related in football, man.
Right.
You guys have all been around each other and worked with each other.
So I went and spent 2 nights in Columbus, Ohio. Anne Marie came with me. She went out to dinner with Shelly Meyer, Urban's wife, that I've had a great relationship with her and her kids for years. Urban was great. Man, I could just tell there were some weird things going on just with the dynamics of the offensive staff. And I just didn't feel it, man. I felt like there was just things about the job that didn't feel right. And I told my wife, I got back, she had a great night, had a couple glasses of wine with Shelly at a wine bar in Columbus. And, and so Amory's like all excited and and I come back and I told Harsh that I was interviewing. He was,
did he take it well?
I get back and I'm like, Amory's like, hey, honey, how was it? And I'm like, yeah, I really like Urban, man. It's really good to see him. And it's like, yeah, and she's like, you don't want the job, do you? And I go, no, I don't, man.
You were like let down that you didn't want it. You wanted to want it. Like, yeah,
it was kind of you know what I found out later, and this is crazy to say. I felt like there was me. I'm a person that's a vibe guy. I'd also say that I'm pretty in touch with my, I think there's some things that for me, I learned over the years that, I go into a situation and I pray about it beforehand. And I ask God to show me, is this where I'm supposed to be or not? Like, and there's never, an audible voice, but I went into that one and man, I felt like this is going to sound over the top. I felt like there was a kind of a darkness like in the offensive staff room. That sounds crazy. Mm-hmm. It was just like everybody's kind of at each other a little bit and everybody's kind of, angle. There's no love. There's no camaraderie, but it felt, the word I would describe the offensive staff at the time was dark. I then found out 2, 3, 4 years later. Do you remember the wide receiver coach for Urban Meyer, Zach Smith?
Yeah, he's Earl Bruce's grandson.
Yep, and he was great. I liked him. He was nice to me and stuff, but man, there were some weird dynamics. Do you remember all the stuff that went down with some potential domestic abuse with his wife Courtney? And those text messages.
Apparently that guy punches girls.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you this:
the worst.
The text messages that became part of the downfall of Urban Meyer. Mm-hmm. The timestamp on those text messages for when Courtney was texting Urban's wife, Shelly, it was when I was there for those 2 days.
So something was up.
Yes.
There was a huge ghost in the room, and
Yes.
and you didn't know what it was,
Correct.
and then you
It
found
was-
out.
dude, it
Yeah,
was
because Urban
wild.
was in. He shouldn't have been a tough spot, but Urban was thinking,
I wouldn't have known.
I can't
Like,
fire Earl Bruce's grandson. Earl Bruce got me into coaching. I'm trying to do this, or it was just that was a weird deal.
and honestly, I'll be honest, Zach's a really good coach. Zach's he's like a mini Urban. He's super intense. He's hard on his guys. He flies around. It was wild, man. It was wild.
And then Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame deal. You don't leave Boise
crazy.
State for Ohio State. You stay at BSU. You say no to Ohio State, and then, dang, man, Notre Dame calls.
Yeah. So the hardest part about the the Ohio State deal was I hadn't formally been offered the job, but I had been recruited and wooed. And it's funny because Urban works, and I think he does the same thing in recruiting. It's kind of a high level manipulative tactic. And I respect his game for it, but he doesn't offer you a job and say ball's in your court. He tells you, I want you to tell me you want the job before he offers the job.
I get it. He doesn't want you using him to go
Correct,
back
to leverage somebody else.
Say,
And, you know,
yeah. I need to know that you're going to take the job before I offer it. Okay.
And so I'm in that spot, and he's like, I want to hear from you that you want this job. And I go, Coach, are you offering me the job? He's like, do you want the job? You know, and I was like, do you want to dance? You want to tango?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so when I came back and tell Emery that, and we're leaving the next morning, and I kind of got on the flight, and it's like, hey, let's talk when you land, and we'll talk in the morning, because it was an afternoon, late night flight, whatever. Is that I told Emery, I'm like, I don't want it. So I call Hars at the airport. The only person I talk to, I call Hars.
You called Hars.
And I say, hey, I want to stay at Boise State. And Hars is like, hey, I say, hey, Mike, I want you to be sure. Like, I don't want it to be one of those things that you're just making kind of, an impulsive to say, don't want it to be, just get home and tell me. I'm like, no. I want to stay at Boise State, like, period. Okay, all right, well, let's just talk in the morning. Let's talk when you get blah, blah. So we go to bed, sleep in a little bit, because we had already won the Fiesta Bowl. It was like a dead period in recruiting. Sleep in a little bit, wake up, phone, like 30 missed text messages. What the frick's going on here?
Yeah. Where are they from?
Do you remember there was a guy for Sports Illustrated that used to break college football news? He's now an agent. Gosh dang it. It's going to elude me. He was the guy that broke the whole Oklahoma State memorabilia cheating scandal. Thayer Evans. Yeah. Thayer Evans, on his X account and on his Sports Illustrated background, he tweets out, Mike Sanford offered the Ohio State job, turns it down to stay at Boise State. What? I hadn't talked to Urban Meyer. What is going on?
Oh, that's cringe, because you're thinking, wait, what? It sounds like you're the cool guy who's saying no thanks to Urban Meyer, and now it's public, and you're like,
Leverage.
Dude.
And you know what?
Man.
You want to know the worst part about it?
What?
Is guess who called me within 5 minutes?
Your dad? Lou Holtz?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you're finding this out. You just woke up. You have all these texts. You're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, Coach Meyer is calling. Oh, Sandman.
How do you think that conversation went?
Oh, God, dude. So
How
did
do you
Urban Meyer called you and just said, basically MF'd you and whatnot?
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to piss him off.
Yeah, it wasn't awesome. He actually wanted me to reach out to Gene Smith, one of the most reputable voices in college athletics, the athletic director at Ohio State, to apologize to the hit on the image of Ohio State, because it looks bad for a group of 5 coach to,
it does.
And I just told him repeatedly, I didn't tell anybody. I told my dad, I told my wife, and I told Hars.
And you told
Hars. So I was pretty upset. I had to call Gene Smith, had to call Urban.
You have to
And
call
the hardest thing,
the AD.
you want to know the hardest thing about all that though is that I actually, is as flawed as Urban Meyer has been, he was good. He's always been good to my family. He was great to my dad.
Yeah, he was, man.
And
Him and your dad were boys, dude.
Yeah. And to be fair, like that really put a strain on our relationship with the Meyer family. And I hated every bit of it.
Sucks, man.
And so fast forward to Notre Dame. I get a call from Brian Pullian, Bill Pullian's son, who I'd worked with at Stanford. He had been
Nevada.
at Notre Dame, and at the time, I think he was the special teams coordinator
coach
at A&M, maybe. At the time, he had been at Notre Dame with Brian Kelly, had a relationship with BK. Okay, and he gives me a call. He said, "Hey, man, have you heard from anybody at Notre Dame?" And this is like 3 weeks after the Ohio State thing. Like I was staying. I turned down an opportunity at Tennessee.
You just signed Brett Rippon, man.
Yes.
Like that was the biggest signing. That was you, dude.
I am staying. So I get this call. It's like, have you heard anything about anything going on at Notre Dame? I said, there's no job. Like who's left? Like what's going on? And like, well, Matt LaFleur is going to be going to the, he's going to be going to the Falcons as assistant quarterback coach. And, I think he's kind of looking for a guy. And I said, well, I don't really care about titles, but I'm not leaving my alma mater to not be a coordinator. Like that, just period. Right. But I'm not doing it because it's a place I love and I value.
Even though it was more money, you were like, no.
Yeah, I'm not leaving for that. Right. So, and it wasn't about, I want the coordinator title. I'd say I'm not leaving the place that I love, that I've built into as a player and as a coach to go be a position coach. Like that's just, it's a slap in the face of Boise State, and Boise State, I believe is on the same playing field. From a program prestige perspective. So Brian Pullian I think he kind of acted as a go-between. And sure enough, I get a call. Actually, I think I got a text from BK's agent. And his name's Trace Armstrong. Great agent.
Former great pass rusher.
Yeah, Trace Armstrong. And, talked to him a lot about Notre Dame, talked to him a lot about, never once talked to Brian Kelly, which was shocking. And I just said, hey, listen, I have to meet Brian Kelly because I went through this process at Ohio State. And I'm just telling you right now, I didn't love the vibes of any of it. Okay. So I got to meet him. So ironically, ready for confession time, playing against a Catholic school, right? After the way everything went down the last time, by telling everybody and keeping everything above board and then getting burned by it. Yeah. Right. I didn't tell a soul. I told my wife, my dad, my mom, dad, I didn't tell anybody. Didn't say, hey, so we're on a quick weekend ski trip to Utah. And I talking to his agent. I said, hey, I can meet with him. He's like, do you want a private jet to pick you up? I said, no, we're in Park City. He goes, Brian Kelly's in Park City right now.
He was in Utah with his skiing?
Skiing with his family, with Pocky and Gracie and the kids, Patrick and the whole crew, and Kenzel. And so I was like, hey, we have, my parents have a little place up in Park City from when my dad coached at Utah and Utah State. And I was like, hey, it'd be really cool if BK would come over. And so he did. So Brian Kelly comes over to our little place, like our tiny, it's like dang near a townhouse. Head
little
coach
bungalow, and BK shows up and
just comes in with him and Pocky. And honestly, they were great, dude. They were awesome. They were super nice. They were genuine. And then me and BK went up to the Montage Resort in Park City where he's staying, which is probably $2,300 a night to stay there.
Too.
Oh yeah. And so we end up getting in a boardroom area, private conference room, and just talked to his people. And I liked him. He was really conversational.
Was there a dry erase board?
We did have a dry erase board.
You got there's always a dry erase board.
Well, I asked
meetings,
for it.
Man. I love it, dude.
Yeah, I asked
love that
because I wanted to talk football. Like I wanted to see if there was a synergy, and there was, man. He was great. And he ended up being great to me for 2 years. I got a head coaching job out of the opportunity.
Yeah, you did.
I loved my time there. I coached in a Fiesta Bowl. I coached in College Game Day 5 times in one season. What
was your offensive line again?
Left tackle Ronnie Stanley is currently starting for the Ravens. Left guard Quentin Nelson. Center Center was Nick Martin, younger brother of Zach Martin, also an NFL starting center. Right guard was Steve Elmer, the only one that he's probably running $1 billion company because he was like a 34 ACT. And then the right tackle was Mike McGlinchey.
So that's one of the great offensive lines of its time, man.
In history. In history.
Yeah. Wow. What an era. Boise State, Notre Dame. Wow. This is happening, dude, in like a few hours now.
It's real.
Man, you're going to be a nervous. I mean, this is your – how bad do you want Boise State to freaking win this game, Sanford?
Badly. And they can. And I'm going to be disappointed if they don't. Just gonna say it. I don't think that's an unfair thing to do as a fan of Boise State, because this program plays in these games very well and did it against Oregon just a year ago. Oh, they don't have Ashton Jency. Well, you got 3 right now. They're pretty dang good, don't you? Right? Why not? That's my expectation. You got to win this game.
20.5. Can't wait, man. God, great stuff. Again, dude, Ball Talk. Free episode tonight. You guys should subscribe. We're doing this every single Wednesday throughout the season, huh, Coach?
It's a lot of fun, man. That was some good therapy right there, man.
Yeah, I hope for your sake your Broncos win, brother.
I did too. You want them to. It's good for business.
I mean, it's probably good for what I do. Yeah, Boise State beats.
It's funny because I've been really hard recently on Bo Nix. You know, because I think he's underachieved. I don't think he's been great. And then, at the end of the day, Bo Nix playing good football is good for my job, right? In sports media in Denver. I work with Bo Nix's wife. It's hard for me to have hard takes on Bo Nix, right?
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but I'm like, dude, he's not playing great. And it was awesome. He played awesome against the Bengals, 317 or something like that. Let's go. Now the Denver Broncos go to play the Eagles. That's the kind of game that feels like Boise State going to play Notre Dame. A team that's right there, that's been in the national championship, won the Super Bowl. Those are really fun moments when you're covering a team. And for you, Johnny, I know there's probably just a few Boise State idiots that think that, he's a vandal. No, you're rooting for Boise State, man. It's great for what you do. And it's great to be the one
going to the CFP was a blast last year.
No doubt. And it was a blast, but also it's always great for our careers when we get to be the Monday through Friday narrator of something special, right? It's really, really special to be a part of that.
I love it. My shout out to my guy, Coach Mike. Has Johnny ever told you how much he hates BSU? Have I ever told you that?
You don't hate BSU. I mean, you're a vandal, whatever, but I mean, the guys they play 2 different sports. They don't even play the same sport.
What, Idaho and Boise State football?
Yeah. One plays essentially a version of flag football, and one plays at Notre Dame Stadium on Saturday. Okay. It's a completely different sport.
All right. See you next week, Coach. We're going to end on that. Ball Talk. I love ya.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!